Welcome back. 6:44 on Daybreak, and this morning they are two Buffalo institutions with a link that you might not be aware of.
Yeah, one is an historic neighborhood which recently found new life as an entertainment district. The other, the identity of East Aurora. This morning, the unknown story of the Larkinville link to Roycroft. Remnants of Larkin are everywhere you look on this historic stretch of Seneca Street, an ornamental wall left over from the Frank Lloyd Wright designed Larkin Administration Building. The street named for the legendary company, even the actual concrete signs on the former terminal warehouse building, a lasting tribute to the men who started it all.
Albert Hubbard was one of the three primary founders and senior managers of Larkin Company in the early 1870s.
Hubbard, along with John Larkin and ultimately Darwin Martin, grew the small soap company into an international mail-order giant with Hubbard as the marketing mind behind it.
He became an iconic American business figure and philosopher.
So how is this iconic site connected with this Western New York landmark? Again, Albert Hubbard.
He decides he's sick of corporate America, he's sick of the rat race, and he wants to follow his dreams of becoming a writer.
And that paves the way from Buffalo to East Aurora to pursue that dream. Unfortunately, he has trouble getting published. But then, on a trip to London, he has an idea that will change American pop culture.
There he visits William Morris's Kelmscott Press, which is all about a return back to making things by hand, especially books.
Arts and crafts really started in the 1850s, and it was kind of a backlash against the Industrial Revolution, which machines were making products that had been handmade since the beginning of time. So arts and crafts really looks back at making extremely high quality, handcrafted art.
This inspired Hubbard, who returned home to East Aurora and opened his own print shop, Roycroft. So it's a combination of an artistic expression and a business opportunity.
Business. Yes, exactly. I refer to Albert as a corporate hippie.
In 1899, things really took off when he published a short story based on his interpretation of an event during the Spanish-American War, advocating that hard work leads to success. A Message to Garcia became the third best-selling book of the time and propelled Hubbard and Roycroft into the national spotlight. Visitors and artisans came from all over, leading Hubbard to build the inn, along with the copper shop and the woodworking facility.
And they would turn kind of the art of furniture making or coppersmithing, these very original, practical and industrial needs that would turn into an art form.
The Roycrofters and the arts and craft movement became a major force in the early 20th century, influencing everything from art to architecture. Unfortunately, Albert and his wife died a short time later in the sinking of the Lusitania, which was torpedoed by a German U-boat. The event drew the U.S. into World War I. The Roycroft campus continued to be successful under the guidance of Albert's son until the crash of 1929. By 1938, they declared bankruptcy and the campus was closed. Fast forward 50 years and Roycroft restoration was underway. And today, they continue to carry on the legacy of Albert Hubbard right down to this working press room, printing the simple writings of Hubbard, which may actually have been a leftover from his Larkin days.
In the Larkin Administration Building, they had these, pithy slogans that kind of reflected their company philosophy. And it was awfully similar to the many, kind of pithy slogans that represented the philosophy of the Roycrofters in East Aurora. And of course, the theme that ran through that was Albert Hubbard.
And interestingly, I was told that when Albert and Alice Hubbard went overseas on the Lusitania, Albert had the idea that he was going to meet with the German chancellor and try and broker peace. Try to end World War I, a reflection of his stature, but also this tremendous self-confidence he had.
So fascinating.
Yep.
Really interesting. All right, let's get a check of the